Look, y'all, UGA is back to what we do. Roll people. Roll them. We don't roll like some teams. We run all over them continually. We're back to the Georgia way. We're going to talk about Vanderbilt and how much I'm excited for this season. Back again after this one game. Yes, come here. Why? Right after this.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Everybody, welcome back. I am Clint. My counterpart, Daniel, is still gallivanting all across the world. It's kind of like, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Where in the world is Daniel? Who knows? No one knows. He doesn't even know, and he likes it that way. But I am back talking about why this Georgia team with Vanderbilt gives me all the feels that we are those dudes. And we can go toe-to-toe with anybody, including the SEC powerhouse Tennessee. Hey, Bam, how you doing? How you doing? Pettiness is fantastic. This is Overreaction Saturday, where I come on here and I overreact to our drubbing of the Commodores of Vanderbilt. I got three things to talk about. One, I'm going to talk about a absolute clinic that Stetson Bennett put on. Two, I'm going to talk about the running game. And three, I'm going to talk about wide receivers, including Mr. Bell. You might get a whole segment to yourself, but I can't. I gotta also give a shout out to Eric Gilbert. Because that had all the feels and everything possible. But let's start with Stetson Bennett. Now, look, we came on this podcast last week and we told y'all, don't anticipate the run game carrying us through. Now, the run game was fantastic. Okay, we're going to get to them in the second segment. By the way, if you are not a fan of Branson Robinson, I pity you. I absolutely pity you. I'm going to say some hard truth, and I'm going to say something for the second segment that's going to be hard truth that you're not going to like me saying, and I don't like saying, and I don't mean it maliciously, but it's the fact of the matter. We're going to do that second segment. But first, we told you don't rely on Todd Monken coming out there, loading up the box, just power running all the way through, 50 attempts, something like that. Get the passing game involved. And let's start with Stetson Bennett and the clinic he put on. And I'm gonna tell you right now, this clinic couldn't have been possible without Todd Monken and Big O. Okay, Todd Monken came out here and he was like he was the first half of this game, not the second half, the first half of this game. He was calling plays like he did against Oregon, like he did against kind of when our offense was up and going early on in the season, right? He had motion that involved a passing game. He had crossing routes. He had that stacked three on the side. That wasn't just the hook, the screen, and the go. It was a fade route with a little option route and then a one back route as well. Todd Monken had introduced new systems into this game, introduced new things to this game. The slip screen that wasn't present before was all of a sudden present there. And Stetson Bennett was slinging it around. He looked healthy. He looked confident. He looked on pace and rhythm. There was reading before snap, which was incredible. Pre-snap reads. One of the sources of contention I had with Stetson came alive for him. The offensive line gave him enough time in that first half. They looked sweet. Now, again, we said Vanderbilt's defense is not that good. But they're not scrubs either. They're a vastly improved team. And if you don't think really quick that the pecking order in the SEC is soon going to involve Auburn down near the bottom and Vanderbilt near the above Auburn, you haven't been paying attention because that's soon going to happen. Vanderbilt's a vastly improved team. Coach Lee's actually doing something there. I got to tip my cap to him. This offensive line held their own. Stetson put on a clinic, was passing, was diamond balls. And if you don't understand just how important that was for our offense and the rest of the season, if you don't understand how getting Stetson back on rhythm, seeing a healthy, going into bye week, feeling good, feeling refreshed, feeling like he had rapport with his receivers, getting Big O involved because Brock Bowers was involved a little bit. They did that read sweep again where he cuts inside, doesn't go full outside. It's not that full sweep, but little inside read on that. If you don't understand how important that is to see these players get rapport with Stetson, it was monumental. It was ride or die type stuff. And he was slinging it. I saw touch on throws. I saw zip to the outside. I saw zip to the middle. And there were a couple of times in which Stetson, again, just reminded me of being in control and being confident and being commander all over again, a la the national championship. It's homecoming. It's in Athens. Yes, and yes, and yes. I do truly understand. But it's vital that this took place. He was back in form, y'all. Now, quick caveat. I saw Carson Beck come in also, and let me overreact right here. Ooh-wee. I like a great deal of what I'm seeing from Mr. Carson Beck. You, sir, have a rifle of an arm. You, sir, put a ball that was not caught a touchdown. That was oh so close. That was 3 inches of white chalk away from being a touchdown. Oh my, young man. Throwing darts out there, zipping the ball, making reads. Carson Beck, welcome right now. If you can find odds on Carson Beck Heisman for next year, get them. Ooh. We're going to come back after this, talk about the running game. But first, we'll talk about Simply Safe. Simply Safe, look, we all know that we need to protect the things that we love in life because they deserve protecting. They're great and they're good. You have them. Otherwise, you're not stupid. You're not dumb. You wouldn't have them if they're not good. Your family, your loved ones, your possessions, your home, everything that you need to protect, Simply Safe is the place to go. They are insanely reliable. It's easy to set up. They have 24/7 monitoring service. It's very relatively affordable. It's not like these other services that are out there that are outdated, antiquated. No. Simply Safe is the spot for you. Go over there right now, simplysafe.com/lockedoncollege for 20% off the entire system that you have. They're going to give you 20% off because there is no safe like Simply Safe. All right, let's talk about these running backs. Branson Robinson is that dude. People are calling him Little Chubb. Look, I am not going to do that. 2 reasons. 1, he's Nicholas Chubb. You put respect on his name. He as far as I know, he has fathered no children. As far as I know. And 2, Branson Robinson is his own man. Stop calling him Little Chubb. He may remind you. That's fair. Do you know who does reminds me of a lot? Gary Danielson reminds me of. Okay, don't do that. Nicholas Chubb is knight status. Branson Robinson has that dog in him, and it's insane to see. He's got low center of gravity. He's very patient. He sets up. He's got a little Dejon Edwards in him. You notice I said he got a little Dejon Edwards in him. I didn't say he No. He's got a little bit where he sets up the block. He's patient. He allows his blockers to get out there. Branson Robinson has that, and it's incredible to see. Dejon Edwards has that, and it's incredible to see. Kenny Mack, by the way, he is. If you don't know this right now, Kenny Mack is going to have a better pro career than he does college because he is going to have a system in the NFL that the new running back is not, as our illustrious Booth at one point told us, the traditional on the ground yardage gaining back. Kenny Mack is fits perfectly in like a 49er system right now. He catches. He has a forward lane. He is tough as nails. All these running backs are tough as nails, and we found our groove running back. We have our rotation. We have our dudes. They know the system. It is beautiful. This offensive line continue to hog molly up in front, pushing people over. It's exactly what I was excited to see, and I got all the feels for it from this game. All the feels. And when I say all the feels, I mean all the feels. There was push, there was acceleration, there was open field, there was cut back, there was one-step jump cuts. There was making guys miss in the hole. There was plowing through other guys. It was incredible to see all the way top down. And look, here's the hard truth. And I'm going to put a little disclaimer. Do not hear me say this and hear that I hoped for it, I wished for it, I'm happy for it. All I'm going to say is this. Now that we have 3 running backs getting a regular rotation and they know the system that they are asked to do, our running game is doing very, very, very well. We're doing insanely well with the 3 running backs that I mentioned, and it is awesome. It is exceptional. It's so much dang fun. Now, this offensive line needs a lot of credit. The tackles I've seen play exceptional football all the way through. Very happy. Then the center and guards exceptionally improved, especially in this game. Second half, they showed a little leakage before this game, or before the start of the second half. In the first half, Stetson had all day. He was running around free and clear. Second half, he got a little leakage. Our running game was a little bit more stagnant until the 2s and 3s got in there and did the same thing. But there were holes being opened up. That touchdown run, oh my good night. It was a thing of beauty. It was wide open. So running game is exactly where I wanted to. It only confirms in me we have the best rushing attack in the SEC. I'll say it again. We have the best rushing attack in the ACC. I know Alabama has the most rushing yards per game. I get it. I understand. I watched them against Tennessee. It doesn't scare me at all. I watched our running game go up against Mizzou on the road, Auburn, again, okay defense, Vanderbilt, vastly improved defense. Our running game has found its system, and that travels. That continues. Why do you think coaches, when they come into a new system, the first three, they want to talk about toughness and they want to talk about controlling the line of scrimmage, because they understand that they can get other auxiliary things. Why do you think Heupel at Tennessee needed a couple of years to get the system up and going? But if you want instant success, you want something that travels, it's running the ball and imposing yourself on the offensive line. That's exactly what the Dogs did. So thrilled for it. Hey, we're going to come back after this and talk about some receivers. We're going to talk about Big O. We're going to talk about Bell. We're going to talk about Eric Gilbert because it's worth mentioning. But first, I want to tell you about BetOnline. BetOnline is a sports book experts that you need to go to. It's where Daniel and I go all the time. It's where we went. I gave you Bama +7, and I gave it as a lock last. And then I came out, and the more I thought about it, I saw that number get to 9, and I jumped on it. So I went against myself. I jumped on Tennessee +9. And look, they took care of business. Should have sprinkled some on that money line as well. BetOnline is the place where Daniel and I go to get all of our bets. It's the only trusted source that we have. They have incredible lines. They're safe, they're reliable, they're fast, they're quick. They're who you should trust to get all of your sportsbook actions. The official sportsbook of Locked On Bulldogs and Locked On Podcasts everywhere. Get over there right now. BetOnline, the official sportsbook of Locked On Podcasts everywhere. All right. Loyal third segment listeners, listen up. I'm going to talk about the defense probably on Tuesday. You're going to hear me talk about the defense because the defense showed up and they scored 0 points. But if you don't understand that Big O is a now bona fide top 15, possibly top 10 pick, this man's a freak. There's nothing like him. Brock Bowers, there's nothing like him athletically. Big O, there's nothing like physically. He is a statue that is flexible and can run like a gazelle. It's unheard of. He's a Greek god manifested once again, 6'7", 2. I don't care what you call him. He's just bigger than everybody, faster than everybody, stronger than everybody. And now he's got hands. Look, like, it's okay. I get it. Okay. If you're Jason Witten, you're just taller and you have this like old man strength since you were the age of 20, that you can just post up at the YMCA with those knee highs, Mr. Longshank T coming in, doing his thing at the YMCA. And you're like, how does he have the old man strength? I get it. Okay. But you can't have old man strength that's actually Greek god strength, as well as hands and ability and the agility as well. Look, you name a tight end he's like. You name a receiver he's like, because you can't. It's unfathomable what this guy is doing. He's making catches after catches. And look, we saw a couple of receivers go down. We saw Ladd McConkey go down with an ankle injury. A.D. Mitchell did not play in this game, which again, we said, please don't you dare play a snap. We saw Dom and Kyrus make a couple of dang good throws, which, by the way, shout out to a couple of dogs. We're going to shout out. Let's do it right now. Shout out to Dom Blaylock and Eric Gilbert. Those two meant something to this team. If you didn't see the excitement in this team, you didn't see the love that these guys had. It was incredible, and it was so much fun to watch Dom and Eric get back out there. It was an abject blast. Guys, we got receivers, and it starts actually with Big O. And if it's not Big O, it's Brock. If it's not Brock, it's AD coming back. If it's not AD coming back, it's Dylan Bell. Yo, he's the real deal. Just like AD Mitchell showed us he was the real deal very early on, Dylan Bell has shown us he's the real deal very early on. We're having a run of absolute dudes at the wide receiver position. And look, it's here now with Dylan Bell. I know it wasn't touched on. I know that his elbow got down or whatnot, but he fights in contested areas. He fights on the route tree, fights in and out of breaks. Dylan Bell's that dude. Before the season, Daniel and I were talking about receiving group, wide receivers in particular, being an issue for us. I don't feel that way at all anymore. AD, get back healthy, take that bye week, get you some sun, but then come back and let us go to work with these guys because Stetson's there and a run game. I am so thrilled for the second half of the season. Daniel's going to come back. I'm going to ask him a question once we get to Tennessee week. And yes, I understand Tennessee is dangerous. They are dangerous. They don't make me nervous. Now, how they're dangerous, but they don't make you nervous? No, I'll tell you why, but it starts with this, and I might argue with Daniel, and you might argue with me. Our offense can go toe-to-toe. We can control you on the ground. We can just pummel you with our ground attack. We can get out on the outside. We can go on the seams. We could do the contested deep ball fades. Most offenses are very dangerous at one thing, a la getting free runners up the seam for days. That's Tennessee. But if, let's say that gets taken away, let's say you don't have that and you need to go to the short controlled game, or you need to go to the screen game, or you need to go to the possession receiving game, or if you need to go to the layered dig and in route game, we can do all of those. No other team can say that. I am thrilled. Highlight of the game, Eric Gilbert getting that touchdown pass. So thrilling. So happy for you. Get you some, young man. Couldn't have loved it more. This has been Clint, Locked On Bulldogs, your team every single day. Come back on Tuesday where I have more overreaction, but on this defense. This is the first overreaction, watching the game. Enjoy it.